Hey there, horror movie tea sippers.
The following podcast episode will contain spoilers for the movie we are about to review. If you have not seen the movie and do not wish to have anything ruined prematurely, please do not continue to watch or listen until you have seen the movie.
And welcome to the Horror Movie Tea Podcast. Today we are covering Talk to Me, which is a recent movie, but I can't remember if it came out this year. I think it came out yes.
I think.
Yes.
Pretty sure it was this year.
Well, I get
It was this year.
Well, since it came out in January, or this is coming out in January, it's actually came out last year.
We're recording this in 2023.
My brain. My brain.
I'm so done.
Yeah. But before we go into the review, let's talk about tea. So we decided to use some Republic of Tea.
This is coming out in January, but we're recording this like right before Thanksgiving. We're feeling fall.
We're feeling festive. Well, and this is just winter tea. But anyways,
Mine is full.
I am drinking the apple pie chai. It's got cinnamon, red rooibos, ginger root, natural flavor, whatever that means, licorice root, cardamom seed, nutmeg, and cloves.
And I am drinking Republic of Tea's pumpkin ginger tea. And it's got red rooibos, sweet blackberry leaves, cinnamon, ginger, natural flavors, nutmeg, cloves, and allspice.
And thank you to the Republic of Tea for allowing us to continue to do what we love. And for our lovely tea sippers out there, brew yourself a cup of tea, sit back, relax, and we hope you enjoy the review. So for the summary, we actually tried this time. As a party game, a group of friends use an embalmed hand to contact the dead. And naturally, or supernaturally, it goes wrong. I had to make the joke.
I was hoping you wouldn't.
Entertainment.
Please.
So I will say what this movie has for it is the premise of itself is really interesting. Like the whole embalmed hand thing. Because I feel like so many movies are like, oh, we're going to pick like common, like we're gonna have a seance, we're gonna have like a Ouija board. They like go through all of like the more like typical quote unquote ways people like contact the dead. So the embalmed hand thing, I don't know if maybe that's like a more like less common lore, like if it's an actual thing or if they made it up, but either way it was interesting.
Yeah.
And it's not something you see very often.
It was new and refreshing.
Yes. And I really like the fact that they made it like it was like a dare where it's like, oh, you too chicken to do this, but then like once they did, they almost became like addicted to it, like it was a drug. I thought that was a really nice effect because that means that they're gonna keep doing it, because if it's too scary and it's not enjoyable, then why would they keep doing it? So it was a good way for them to be like, oh, this is why they're continuing to do it. It's like there is a level of risk, but they're not like thinking about it. They just want like the next like...
They want the next hit.
Yeah. But like after like the malevolent spirit comes, I will fully admit that my brain started checking out. So it was interesting up to that point, but then like after that, my brain was like I was watching the movie, but my brain was like starting to wander a bit. So it's like the fact that this movie couldn't keep my, like the story wasn't strong enough for it to keep my attention. Oh man. Like, oh, I would probably give this movie like a 7, where it's like, I feel like it definitely has the elements to make it like a really interesting, unique movie. Like the bringing to a more cliche situation, the premise around it is unique, I should say. But yeah, I did keep my interest. But that's all I got.
I give it a 7.25. I rather enjoyed this movie. It was refreshing that it wasn't a Ouija board or a seance or like a one specific medium. It was something different. And normally, just as an outsider, you would think that the supernatural activity that they witness and everything would be scary and would put them off of it. But you see them afterwards in such a euphoric state. So it does have some kind of altering effects on them. And it does seem almost like a drug to them. Mm-hmm. So that explains why they would keep going back to it and keep wanting to try it. And also I understand the appeal for someone who's lost someone very close to them. Like the main character had lost her mother, I think it was 2 years before. So she was hoping for maybe a chance to talk to her mother. So I can definitely see the appeal there. I thought it was interesting that the spirits that they were contacting were trapped in the hand. Alyssa apparently missed that.
I was zoned out in that part, I guess. Oops.
Yeah, they were saying if you die while under the influence of the hand, then you were trapped as well. That's why in the end, when there was darkness and she realized that she was dead and she saw a light and walked towards it, it was the candle from the next session. And she was the spirit that they had contacted and she grabbed them. So that's why she was trapped.
And that's a cool way to like circle back around.
Yes, absolutely.
Like the circle continues, because it's like with so many horror movies, they're like, oh, there's like either a resolution or like with The Ring, it's like the curse keeps getting passed on. While this one is like, no, this is like it's complete like circular story.
Yeah,
and you can see how it's impacting like this one person in particular.
Yeah. I do also find it interesting that the spirits are kind of twisted and warped. Like there's not just one malevolent spirit. They all seem to be kind of twisted and all seem to be malevolent. So I'm wondering if, since she is now trapped in the hand as well, if she's going to eventually get twisted and warped and become malevolent herself.
Like maybe like the longer you're in there, the more it like damages your soul or whatever.
Yeah. So that was interesting. The effects that they had in the real world were a little vague. Like they could make you see different things and experience things, and some of it was happening, some of it was just in your head, and it was a little vague on those aspects. The rules weren't too clear there. They did
whatever they wanted in that scene.
Yeah. And they said there was a time limit, but how do they know that there's a time limit? How do they know these different rules? Like I wanted a little bit more backstory there.
Yeah, like it would be cool if it like a Ouija board, it came with instructions.
Yeah.
And it's like, here's how you play the game. And that would like make sense on like how it got started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because there was so much writing on it too. So it just...
Yeah.
We have questions.
Yes.
Or at least I do. I have questions. Some of the interactions between the characters don't really feel very organic. The relationships between the main character and like her best friend, for example, seem rather toxic and not very healthy.
Yeah.
So in multiple ways, not just like the best friend is toxic, like she has some toxic traits as well. So it just felt a little off-putting and doesn't garner a whole lot of sympathy for the character, honestly. So makes it a little difficult to root for the main character when you're like, eh.
Yeah, but maybe that is what makes the ending like. Well, no,
It's not really satisfying either, though.
Yeah. Well, and then it's like,
But you don't feel like terrible. Like it's just a different ending. Like you don't feel any particular kind of way about it.
it's just like, oh, this happened.
It's kind of a bummer, but at the same time, it's kind of our own fault. So, yeah, that's what I got for entertainment anyway.
Realism is gonna be tough. This is what happens when I neurotically organize while watching a movie. But I was organizing the DVD, so I was literally, the screen was right there, and I
We're
was
making
watching.
excuses.
So for realism,
Ain't got time for that.
realism is tough. Like, I would say situationally, like the kids, like, grab onto doing the hand and stuff, that's like very plausible and very like I can see that happening, because teenagers, it's like teenagers do dumb things, especially like for clout or peer pressure or whatever you want to call it.
Well, and a lot of them didn't think it was real. They thought it was faked.
Yeah.
So some of them were just curious to see it and see if there was a trick to it. What are you doing?
I need to readjust myself really bad.
Well,
but I'm stuck.
do it.
I'm
Jesus.
trying. I'm sorry. Here we go. Oh, that's so much better. Oxygen back to my leg. But yeah, the teenagers doing teenage stuff. And then, yeah, that's all I got. Oh, but I need to give it a number.
Yes, you do.
A 2. I'll give it a 2. Because that's pretty safe. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to all our listeners. I've disappointed everyone.
I feel like you didn't do the homework.
I know. That's like I literally watched the movie, but it literally went poof out of my head. Because it's like I was watching the movie, and then it was after like the whole like quote unquote mother taking over the friend. And then after that, I'm like, these DVDs are really dirty. And so I started dusting, and it just went downhill from there. I'm like, I can listen and pay attention to this movie. And whenever the movie was over, I'm like, yeah, this is fine. But obviously that...
It was not,
I made a
fine.
poor choice.
I am disappointed.
I'm sorry, Mom.
So disappointed. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. Apocalypse Mom is disappointed in you.
Apocalypse Mom. That was great. Yeah, if you haven't, you should watch our 7 Days parts or stream, because Jess definitely was Apocalypse Mom in that one. BFF
For realism. By the way, if you haven't seen our merch store, we have this mug that says, "I'm going to kill you at some point." There's a reason that I drink from this mug. And there's a reason that her line is, "Please don't kill me."
Help. I'm in danger.
So for realism. Some of the interactions are understandable and realistic. People grieve in different ways, so to lose someone that close to you, even a couple years later, it still hurts.
Yeah.
And the movie makes it seem like she doesn't really have that much of an outlet or space to talk about it. Her dad isn't there a whole lot, it seems like, so she seems very isolated in her grief. It's different to talk about it with even family members that you don't see too often. So the scene at the memorial for her mother, it's just very awkward and somber. Like, there's an aunt that talks to her, but it's just kind of, here's a couple of memories.
Yeah, it's hard to be vulnerable and honest with your feelings with someone that you're not close to.
Exactly. Her friend is so wrapped up in her little romance with her boyfriend that she's kind of neglecting the friendship. So that could make her feel more isolated, and she comes across as clingy, which it does seem a little unhealthy there. She's pushing a little hard there. But her friend is also not the best of friends. There's some work that needs to be done on both sides, or needed to be done on both sides, as one of them is now dead. It's kind of a problem. But there are other interactions where it just seems kind of forced and kind of drama for drama's sake. The whole circumstance around her mother's death is kind of shaky. And I didn't feel like it was entirely necessary. But I don't know, that's just me. Going back to the hand, if they are getting a euphoric state afterwards, basically a hit, almost like a drug, it makes sense why they would go back to it, which I appreciate, because otherwise, like, why in the hell would you do that? That does not look pleasant at all.
Yeah, they definitely made it look like when you first start and you're seeing the person, that'd be scary as shit.
They look like hell during it too.
Yeah.
Like, it's awful. Why would you put yourself through that? But they keep going back to it, and when you find out that the people that die while under the effects of the hand are trapped in it themselves, it makes sense why they would get kind of a drug-like hit from it. Because the hand is trying to get as many souls as possible trapped in it. So it's an interesting cursed item, but that many people not saying anything about the hand, even to police, makes no sense. And when someone goes off the deep end and kills his own brother and then stabs himself in the eye, yeah, no. I'm pretty sure that would be a signal to others that use it that, maybe this is a problem. This is a bad thing.
Yeah.
So it just didn't make that much sense. The candle thing didn't make that much sense to me either. Like, why is that necessary, that you have to blow out the candle for it to stop? Like, you have to let go of it and blow out the candle. Otherwise, it keeps going. Why?
That doesn't make sense. Because it's like, especially when there were times where they're having trouble, like, getting the hand out.
Yeah.
It's like they should have it to where it's like, well, if you let go, then the connection is cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a little weird.
Yeah. They were a little vague on that.
I feel like that was them trying to call to, like, other seances or whatever, where it's like, oh, you always light a candle. But it's like, this one works a little differently than that.
Yeah. Yeah. And how do they have these powers of looking like certain people? Like, messing with your mind. Like, they appear to her as, like, her mom. How? I get why, But how? And then they look like her dad. To make her doubt him and end up having her try to kill him. Also, she stabs the guy in the neck, like where an artery is. And he's losing a massive amount of blood. Also, that likely would have stabbed into his throat. So he probably would have been choking on his own blood, as well as bleeding out. But he was still alive when the friend, like, at least 10 minutes later, at least, came to the house and found him that way. And then it takes another little while for the ambulance to get there to stabilize him. So, how did he live? How is the dad not dead?
Yeah, because oh no. Because even like if you put pressure on a root wound,
That'll only do so much.
yeah,
Especially for an artery.
yeah,
And you can't exactly tourniquet that kind of area.
yeah, or stop your heart from beating,
Yeah,
so that way
yeah.
it's not like pumping out blood.
It's not like an arm or a leg where you can tourniquet above the wound and yeah, you might lose that limb, but you're not going to die.
Yeah, you kind of need your head.
Yeah, it's kind of important.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know it from many people, but
Shots fired.
sip on that tea. But it's kind of an important area most of the time, and you can't exactly tourniquet that. So, how did he live? That's what I want to know. So yeah, I give it. No, I can't do it. I give it a 1.5. I can't give it higher than that because also she takes the brother out of the hospital without anyone stopping her
Yeah.
and takes him to the highway area, like, or road, I guess. Not necessarily a highway. But no. Like he was under sedatives and everything, and they had to restrain him because he would hurt himself. So he's under psychiatric care in addition to physical care, like medical care. So there's no way they're letting him out of the area without some kind of forms and all kinds of stuff. And she's not a legal guardian or anything. She's just the friend of the family.
Yeah, that would not be
No, absolutely not. It just doesn't make sense. Also, he wasn't like in a secured area. He was in a regular hospital room, which didn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Like maybe that hospital didn't have the resources to have its own
I
like
don't
ward or
know.
something.
And it's a different country. I'm pretty sure it was Australia because of the kangaroo in the road. So, or I think it was a kangaroo. If it was young because it was small.
Yeah, that was a kangaroo.
Yeah. So, Australia. Could be different there. I don't know. But it just seemed off. And then again, when there's another instance of cuckoo and someone dying, then there's another session with some other people. So, why are people doing this still? With the same damn hand?
Oh no. Yeah.
I got questions. Also, she's the one that had the hand. Who got it?
Plot hole.
Who got it for there to be another session? Anyway. That's what I give it.
Like, at least for me, it's like, if you're like, I only want to watch the most prestigious of horror movies, then this one's skippable. But it's like if you...
Suddenly snobby.
But if you're like, I love all of the horror movies...
Judgy over here.
No! I was mimicking, like, whoever is out there is like, I only want to watch, like, the super good...
Little Miss Judgy.
Anyways, or if you're, or if you're a person that loves old horror movies, then this one is worth at least one watch.
I feel like you get a bit more out of it if you watch it a couple times, but it's worth at least one watch.
But thank you for joining us today, and let us know what you thought of the movie. If you'd like to recommend a movie, game, or tea, you can leave us a comment or join our Discord server. And if you'd like to keep up to date with our content, you can find our link tree listed below.
And if you'd like to support us monetarily, we have a Teespring available, or we have our PayPal donate button, or we have our affiliate link with Republic of Tea available. It does not affect the price of the tea, it just allows us to continue to do what we love. You can find all of the sites mentioned linked below, but until the next time, guys, stay safe and stay spoopy.